Everything has changed. Devils held their second on-ice practice today. Roster news, not the best. Something to keep an eye out for. Implications, let's talk. Welcome, Devil fans. Glad you're here today. Want you to stick around with the preseason quickly approaching. Hit the subscribe button. Preseason, regular season underway soon enough. This Sunday, Devils starting it off with the Rangers. Look, regular season, playoffs, preseason, it's always fun when it's Devils Rangers. So hit the subscribe button. We want you guys here as we get underway. And as we continue to get closer to getting underway, we're going to continue to learn more about this Devils team. You know, what the lineup's going to look like. Injuries. Obviously, we heard Jack Hughes sounds like he's 100% ready to go for game one. That is good news. But at practice today, we heard some other news about some other players on this Devils team and where they're at. Jacob Markstrom missed today due to a family personal reason. Look, we hope all is good with Jacob Markstrom. Shane LaChance and Lenny Hemanyoa looked great prospects challenge. Seems like they're monitoring 2 injuries. We hope it's not super severe. We'll wait and hear more on that. Johnny Kovacevic, not expected, as we know beforehand, to be ready for game one. When he comes back, still up in the air. We'll wait for a timetable on that. Now, in the middle, this is the news that I don't think any Devil fan expected, knew coming into it. Stefan Noesen has a groin injury pre-existing from last season. He re-injured it late in the summer and required a procedure. He's expected to miss some time. Okay, so based on what we've seen from this report, I want you to take a second. Go back to last offseason. What did the Devils do? What did Tom Fitzgerald do? Because he's made it pretty clear how he values certain things in this lineup. I mean, we saw goaltending. He knew he needed to go and get a goaltender. Well, yeah, he went and he traded a first-round pick and more to make sure it's Jacob Markstrom, and now they're in contract extensions. Defensively, yeah, maybe he learned it the hard way, seeing all those defensive injuries. I mean, kind of now 2 years in a row, he pretty much made sure he was going to have at least some type of depth. And that's where he has seemed to really, really value his depth, his bottom six. We go back 2 off seasons ago. What were the signings that he made? He wanted his bottom six, and he said, all right, Stefan Noesen, yep, there's a contract. Paul Cotter, Vegas, you want my former 7th overall pick and a goaltender who just won us a playoff series for the first time since 2012? Yeah, okay, we can make that work. So we've seen how he valued it then, and in this previous offseason where the Devils, and they said there was going to be change. Tom Fitzgerald came out and said, we're not having the same team. We're not going to look the same. We're going to be different. We're not finishing 20th in the NHL in goals for with a top 3 power play. We're going to be better offensively. We're going to look different. How does he do that? He goes and he signs 2 bottom 6 players. He goes out, he gets Connor Brown. Now, Connor Brown fits the system, sure. But you know where he plays 3rd, 4th line. Evgeny Dadonov, yeah, at this point in his career, 3rd line player. And I'm a Evgeny Dadonov fan, 20 goal scorer. Found a way to crack the Dallas lineup. Should be able to crack the New Jersey Devil lineup. But when I look at this type of signings that you're making with a 20th in the NHL in goals for when you have a top power play, yeah, those don't seem like signings that are going to necessarily help your scoring. And now you're looking at it and one of those players not expected to start the regular season. So when I look at what Tom Fitzgerald has done over the past 2 off seasons in really, really getting bottom 6 scoring and kind of just going, well, top 6, they'll figure it out. Tom Fitzgerald going over here and, looking at what he's done and signing guys like Timo Meier and Jesper Bratt and Jack Hughes. 2 great contracts. Nothing against those. But, 2 years, 3 years later, you have to be able to adapt. I mean, you have to be able to go, well, you know what? Those are really good contracts. We did those really well. We need a little bit more up there. I mean, at one point, that's what he thought. That's why he went out and he got Tyler Toffoli. He trades Sharangovich, gets Tyler Toffoli. Devils top 6, a little bit more lethal. Looks a little bit better. They already had a good top 6. Now it's even better. Following year, they move off Tyler Toffoli. Who replaces them? Well, Tom Fitzgerald goes into his bottom 6, and he puts a couple more dollars in his bottom 6. I've said it before. Your top 6 is more important every single time. Stars top 6 is more important than your depth every single time. Now, I know people come out here and they go, well, you know what? Depth is important. Can't win without depth. That might be true, but it's never as important as your top 6, your star players. There's a reason your top 6 and star players get paid more. There's less of them. They make a greater impact. You need to have a top 6. And if you want to go ahead and go, you know, Stefan Noesen, you know, depth player, Stefan Noesen, looking at projections and how this lineup could unfold and how last year went, Stefan Noesen could be in the top 6 at points. So if Stefan Noesen is going to be missing from your bottom 6 and plays top 6 at points, what do you do here? How do you adjust? Because like I've said before, Stefan Noesen, great scorer, scored 19 goals by January, set, a new career high. But it's a great story. I mean, it's not someone that's going to go ahead and win you a Stanley Cup. He's an important piece when he's playing the position he's supposed to be playing, which is a third-line winger role. I mean, that's why you go out and get players like that. Seeing what Tom Fitzgerald has done in terms of his top 6 and not adding on to it after the previous 2 years that we've seen, it does make you question. It does make you think, where is the direction of this team? How do they feel? Does he think that this is enough in our top 6? Now, I do think Gritchuk can come into the top 6 and score 25 goals this year. But if you're not going to get that, and you're going to have a top 6 where, you're the best center duo in your division, but you're going to struggle in different parts, well, you're not getting the most out of your best, someone that you have an advantage over every other team in your division. You want to get the most out of that. I've said it before. Devils, they need to look to get back to, that speedy transitional game that they were 2 years ago. I guess now 3, or coming up on 3, when they were a dominant team. They need to get back to that. Now, I know they weren't physical enough, and they need to go get a little bit more physical. And Tom Fitzgerald did do that. But they're not winning games, winning playoff series by being a more physical team. They need to do what their identity is. You look at the Devils' best players. What do they all have in common? They're good skaters. They're good in the transitional game. They can get the puck up ice quick. They can make plays quick. They'll go in and they'll, outcycle you. That's how this Devils team works. That's how this Devils team wins games. I mean, this isn't the 2020, 2021 Islanders. You're not looking at, older players who are physical or, are going to forecheck you. That's not this team. Now, Florida might have won a Stanley Cup last year because their forecheck was so good. But what are you going to do? Change your whole entire roster? I don't think you have to. I don't think you need to take the exception of a Florida Panther team that won the Stanley Cup because of how good their forecheck was. Yes, it was incredible. It was a way that they were able to spend a lot less money on defense than other teams do. They were able to take flyers on guys like a Nate Schmidt, at one point a Gustav Forsling. Look how he's turned out. But if you're New Jersey and you look at the DNA of this team, that's not how you're winning playoff series Stanley Cups. You need to go after what you do well, the Devils do well, and do better than Florida, is they are a quicker team. They have some skill there. They are a team that can play the fast-paced game. Now, with the Florida, yes, are you looking at maybe different matchups? I'm not even going to, necessarily get to that point. But if you want to be successful, want to be a team that's going to win in the playoffs, they need to get back to that game. Tom Fitzgerald getting the bottom 6 some more help over the past 2 off seasons. We see Stefan Noesen go down. How long is it going to be? We don't know yet. We know that he re-injured himself, required a procedure. When he's back, we'll wait and see on that. Johnny Kovacevic, same answer to that as well. Let me know what you think in the comments. The Devils need to go make another move. Let me know down below. Do they need to make another move? Do they need to add something? Or is the roster good enough as it is? Let me know down in the comments, and I'll see you guys all really soon.